Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Bandwidth for the Tech Guy is provided by Cachefly. CACHEFLY.com. Hi, this is Leo Laporte, and this is my Tech Guy podcast. This show originally aired on the premier radio networks, including 166 of the best stations in the U.S., and XM Channel 166 on satellite. On Saturday, October 15th, 2011, this is episode 813. Enjoy. The Tech Guy podcast is brought to you by Gazelle, the easy way to sell or recycle most any used electronic gadget from your home or office. Don't just sell it, Gazelle it. Gazelle your used gadgets today at gazelle.com. Well, good day to you. Leo Laporte here, the Tech Guy. And it's time, yes indeed, to talk about cell phones and camcorders, MP3 players and home theater, computers, sure, the internet, yeah, all that jazz, all that digital jazz. The phone number, if you want to call in and ask a question, make a comment, make a suggestion, 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number, 888-827-5536, toll free from anywhere in the U.S. of A. Outside the U.S., just call via Skype, I guess. That'll be toll free. 8888 Ask Leo. Website is techguylabs.com. You can go there, find out more about what we're up to here. All the show notes are there. We've done 812 shows. This is 813, so you'll find 812 show notes there. You'll find links to our chat room. Great chat room. 657 people in there. There'll be 1,000 before I finish talking today. Live video, if you want to watch a person with headphones speak into a microphone, it's fascinating. 8888 Ask Leo. Actually, today our live video will feature the iPhone 4S because I'm holding one in my hot little hand here. You know, I got the white one. People are mocking me for that. They say it's the girly one, but I just wanted to distinguish it from every other phone I have, which is piano black. And so I really think that the comparison that these days is going to be against the top of the line Android phone, which right now is the Galaxy S2. Although this week we'll hear an announcement of what I think will be Samsung's Nexus Prime running the latest Android ice cream sandwich. That'll be Google's response to the iPhone 4S. So as soon as that comes out, and supposedly it'll be Verizon, I'll get that. And then I'm waiting for the latest Windows Phone 7, the Mango-based phone. C-Ray is the code name from Nokia. The spectacular phone from Nokia, which we still don't know anything about, except I suspect it'll come out sometime soon. So we'll have 3 very modern, very state-of-the-art, very fast dual-core processor phones out there to compare. Already, I could tell you one thing that surprised me a little bit with Apple's announcement of the iPhone 4S is it's exactly, in terms of shape, look, feel, the same as the iPhone 4. If I walk down the street holding this, nobody's going to know whether I have the latest or the oldest. From a pure marketing point of view, that's a mistake, right? You always want to put fins on the new model so that people will want it. So they'll look at the old model and go, oh, that's the old model. Oh, I'm so sorry. But Apple didn't do that, and I'm grateful. I mean, from the point of view of a consumer, it's great because your cases still work, your cables still work. You don't have to, you know, all my old accessories continue to work, so that's great. I like that. They did add one model, a 64 gigabyte model, which is a lot of storage. And of course I bought that. Although nowadays most people, especially I think with the new iCloud service, will probably not feel the obligation to put their whole music archive on the phone. There's a better camera, and I'll vouch for that. Boy, it's a lot better. I'm going to start taking some pictures. We'll put them up on the Flickr site or the website, and you can see the distinction. In fact, what I want to do is compare the 8-megapixel cameras in the Galaxy S2 and this phone, and then whatever Windows Mobile does. But I think the big The big thing is that going to end up being the Siri voice assistant. Let me give you an example here. You press and hold the home button. It beeps at you. What is that? Oh, I shouldn't have said anything. Cancel. Okay, this is going to be problem number one, is you and everyone around you has to shut up. Because it doesn't make any sense at all. Yeah.
Would you like to search the web for Gazette's what is it, or should have said anything, cancel?
You can see the problem right there. Let me try that again. So you can either hold it up to your head, which I think is kind of neat. You just hold it up like you're going to make a phone call, except that Siri then will start. Or press the home button and hold it, and it'll go beep, beep. And then you got to make sure you wait till the beep, beep before you say anything. What is Apple's stock price? So it's thinking right now.
Apple went up significantly yesterday.
And then
$422.
It did. Went up $14. Obviously, the stock market likes the iPhone 4S, and you can see. Well, if you look on the screen, you'll see a graph. You'll see Apple stock price. You'll see a lot of information. Let's try something else. What do you want to try? Let's try. What is the meaning of life? How about that? Let's see. What is the meaning of life? See what it says.
I can't answer that now, but give me some time to write a very long play in which nothing happens.
I can't answer that now, but give me some time to write a very long play in which nothing happens. I don't. Okay. It, by the way, gives you different answers. It has some rotating answers that are silly. How about, let's see, what would you like to know? The little math? You want to say math? Calculate 9 times 6. I don't even know if it'll do this.
I found this for you.
It then pulls up a page from Wolfram Alpha. I think this was inspired of Apple. Wolfram Alpha is a kind of a knowledge search engine in which you can give it math problems, questions. So it pulled that up and, in fact, found the result, 54. Shows it on a number line, too. It'll do things like that if I say, how many calories in a banana? It'll do the same thing. It'll look it up on Wolfram Alpha and give you the number of calories fairly quickly. This is
Checking my sources.
This is over 3G. I love it that it talks back to you. Now, some of this,
I found this for you.
Thank you. And, in fact, 105 calories in a banana. Where is the iPhone 5? Let's see what it says.
I found 2 places matching iPhone fairly close to you.
It found iPhone repair and iPhone urgent care. So that was just a silly question, obviously. What is the weather this morning?
Sorry, I can't get past weather information.
I see it knows it's too late. Make an appointment with Lisa for tomorrow at 9 a.m. So it's actually going to enter into my calendar.
Which Lisa? Lisa Kensel, Lisa Bettany, Lisa Little, Lisa French.
Lisa Kensel. So it gives you some choices because there's a number of Lisas in my book.
Shall I remove it from your calendar?
Oh, okay. So it said it heard cancel, not cancel. One of the things that it also...
Okay, then. I won't delete the appointment.
Thank you. If there's a conflicting appointment, it'll say you have a conflicting appointment. Would you like me to move this one? It does a lot of interesting things, and I think very useful. Set a reminder for 9 p.m.
Okay, just tell me what you want to be reminded about.
Light my fire. I don't know.
Here's your reminder for today at 9 p.m.
And in fact, it
says, light my fire.
In fact, put that...
Shall I create it?
Yes. So it, in fact, created the appointment.
Okay, I'll remind you.
Or actually a reminder in this case. You can also create shopping lists, create lists of all kinds, make notes. Note to self, peanut butter mayonnaise.
Noted.
And it makes a note that says peanut butter mayonnaise. Ew. I didn't add the ew. I did. So this is really cool. You can say, tell it relationships. You can say who your wife, your son, your daughter is, and so forth. So you can then say, call mom if it knows who mom is, and things like that. So this is I have to say impressive. It is, I think, the first volley in. I think we'll see a war between Google and others and Apple, but very impressive. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
But I did.
Play Bob Dylan.
Sorry, I couldn't find Bob Dylan in your music.
Ah, thank goodness Kyle's smarter than Siri. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Kyle Benham, our musical director, showing you that still humans can do more than machines, but only if I had some Bob Dylan on here, would have played it. We've been playing with the new iPhone 4S. I've got so caught up with playing with Siri, the voice assistant, which I think is a breakthrough, that I didn't mention, some of the other features. It is a faster processor. Won't notice a difference if you're using an iPhone 4. It's underclocked. It's at 800 megahertz, apparently, according to people who've tested it at non-tech. That's slower than the iPad. The iPad 2 is gigahertz. It's about 25% faster. It's also, so it's underclocked. Now that gives you better battery life, but it gives you slower speed. On the other hand, in benchmarks, this thing just smoked every other phone out there, even though it's only 800 megahertz. Remember, it's a custom chip from Apple, and they've got, we found out, 1,000 people working on this processor. A significant portion of Apple employees are working on making this highly optimized for this device. So at 800 megahertz, it may, in fact, be faster at the things that you ask it to do on the iPhone. It does have a much better camera, noticeably better camera. And finally, you can take a picture with the camera by pressing the volume buttons, which is kind of what you'd expect with a camera. There's buttons right up on the top there. You press the button right where you'd expect it to be, and it takes a picture. That's... it's funny because they banned an application called Camera Plus for doing exactly that. And now they do it. Excellent camera, though. Really good color rendition, I think. It is a noticeable improvement from the old iPhone. Absolutely. So, faster processor, better camera, and this voice recognition. And that's pretty much what you're getting in this new iPhone 4S. Unless you have a hankering to use Siri, and I suspect in time they will roll this out. Siri is in beta, not release version. And I suspect in time they will roll this out for probably at least the iPad 2, which has more than enough power to do it. Maybe even for the iPhone 4. They also, I think, could add other, many of the iPhone features like iCloud are built in if you upgrade to iOS 5 on your phone, if you have an iPhone 3GS or 4 or an iPad 2. So things like the new notifications you can get anyway, and they're pretty cool. They're very Android-y. You'd pull it down from the top, and you can see all the notifications. You can cancel any notifications. You get live notifications like the stock market and weather. Those are nice. But iCloud, the automatic backup, all that you'll get if you just update your existing iOS device to iOS 5. So the real differences in this new hardware are better processor speed, better camera, and the Siri Assistant. I don't think, unless you have a hankering to get these, that's compelling enough to go out and buy a new phone. I was due. I got this for the subsidized $200 because I was due. But in my opinion, it is not worth the upgrade unless you really want one of those three features. The faster processor, you won't notice a difference. The better camera, you will notice a difference. And most importantly, Siri. I think Siri's a breakthrough. I think Siri is the beginning of something we're going to get used to, which is computers hearing us and talking back and acting. And Siri's pretty smart for a first-generation product. Smarter than the Android equivalent. I can send texts, I can send emails, I can make appointments, I can set reminders, I can add notes, I can get directions, I can play music. A lot of the things Android's been able to do for some time help. but even more.
I don't understand. Richmond able to do for some time help.
You see, this is part of the problem, though, with voice dictation. It's something you want to keep in mind. If you're not in a quiet environment, or if you have kids, as I do, who every time you press that button say things like 49, hello, mustard, chopped liver, and then Siri understands nothing. Help. It's going to give me a list of some of the things I can do with it, and they're really quite extensive. You can make dinner dates, you can set up meetings, you can remind people, you can email, as I said, weather, stock prices. You can even say things like, what is the meaning of life?
Try and be nice to people, avoid eating fat, read a good book every now and then, get some walking in, and try to live together in peace and harmony with people of all creeds and nations.
I love that. So, Mike Elgin made a really good point. He's a writer he has a great newsletter, posts on Google Plus a lot, writer for Computer World, former editor of Computer World. Mike said, yeah, this is a big advantage for Apple right now. But stand back, because Google and Facebook, he said Google, I'm going to add Facebook, have more information than Apple does about all kinds of things, don't they? They've been collecting that kind of information about you, your likes, your habits, your friends, for a long time. Once this technology, which is not particularly advanced, others can duplicate it. Google already has something pretty close with Android. Once they implement this technology with their richer, deeper understanding of you, your interests, your location, places you shop, they can make, I think, better products. Apple's disadvantage is they haven't been collecting this information about you for years, and it's not really their business. They're a hardware manufacturer. So Mike makes, I think, a very good point, which is this is the beginning, this is the first volley, but others will do something similar soon that in the long run probably will be better because they have more information about you and what you do. I think this is very interesting, and I think very exciting, and it's the beginning of HAL 9000. Apple has a lot more they can do with this, and I presume will do with this quickly. Things like make it available to other programs, make you be able to open other. You can't open other programs right now. If I tell Siri to open a program, open Instagram.
I can't do that for you. I'm sorry to let you down.
It can't do that. Now, of course, it should be able to do that. And I think it's just a matter of time before it can do things like that, and that other programs interact with it. So I'd love to be able to say, open Instagram and send a comment or things like that. Right now, it only works with a few Apple programs. If you do a web search, it'll open Safari. If you ask for directions, it'll open Maps. That's a Google program. If you want to take notes, it'll open the Notes app. Weather, stocks, that kind of thing, calendar. It can't add a contact for you. I think that's probably more a safety feature than anything else. I think there's a lot more you can do with this. I'm sure Apple will do a lot more with this. I'm sure Google will, and Facebook. I suspect Facebook has perhaps the big advantage here. They've been collecting so much data about us for so long. They know who my mom is. I don't have to tell it. Very interesting. But I have to say, I'm going to have a lot of fun with this. The real question is this yet another Apple innovation like FaceTime that demos really cool? It gets people really excited. But in the long run, people just don't use that much. You know, I found with Android dictation, it's really cool. I love to use it, but I don't use it all the time. I rarely use it because it's noisy, it's hard, it's difficult. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. We'll go to the phones right after this. Leo, it doesn't matter if you've got a black or white iPhone. It's pretty much the same thing. It's nice that they have the white, I have to say, only because then it doesn't look like any of my other phones. I can't stop playing with this Siri, and I'm going to stop right now. But you can see there's a lot of fun. In fact, Joshua Topolsky, who has a website called The Verge, he's former Gadget editor, did a whole bunch of oddball queries of Siri. I guess he spent a lot of time messing with that and came up with some crazy responses. Siri says some weird things, he says. For instance, let's try a few of these. I can't stop. I was going to stop. I need help hiding a body.
Is that so?
I need to hide a body.
What kind of place are you looking for? Metal foundries, swamps, dumps, mines, or reservoirs?
Now that's helpful. Wow. So you get the idea. They've obviously done a little bit of programming in here, having some fun with it. And Joshua's come up with about 20 fun things. If you go to thisismynext.com, and we'll put a link in the show notes, techguylabs.com, for his article. Siri says some weird things. That is true. You can't stop playing with it, can you? I got to stop. I'm going to answer some calls. Rob in Carlsbad, California. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, was just there at Legoland, Rob, yesterday. Hi, Rob. Are you there, Rob? Maybe he got tired of me playing with Siri.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was muted, Leo.
That's okay. Welcome.
I'm about a mile south of Legoland. Amazing place, isn't it?
Oh, we had so much fun. You know, I had been there with my son in the Legoland in Denmark maybe 5-6 years ago, and they had this wild thing that they didn't have at Legoland in Carlsbad, where you would program a giant robotic hand to make these movements. Then you'd get in a seat in the hand. The hand was that big, and it would whip you around. And they finally got it at the Carlsbad Legoland.
Wow.
Yeah. Great way to throw up, if that's what you're looking for.
I guess if they had it here, Leo, people would try to eject into the ocean.
Yeah. Well, hey, it was a nice week in your area. I had a great time in San Diego, staying at the Hotel del Coronado and playing. It was fun. But what can I? Enough about me. What can I do for you, Rob?
Okay, I got an odd situation, Leo. I've got a Verizon Standard 4 iPhone.
Yeah.
And I was looking to update to iOS 5. And, of course, it offers me, the old iTunes offers me the new iTunes first.
Yeah, you have to have iTunes 10.5 before you can do that.
Exactly. So I downloaded 10.5.0.142, and it's probably up to 1.
Yeah.
So anyway, I downloaded that, and the first thing I did was I put my 64-gig the iPad 2 onto the line,
right,
and it went to do an update. And I've got an odd situation. The machine I have iTunes on has a very small SSD as the C drive, and a fairly decent-sized half-terabyte hard drive as drive E. In order to overcome the limitation where Apple wants to put the backup files on C, I created a symbolic link also called a directory junction.
Oh, boy.
So that, well, basically, there's an mklink command.
Yeah. You used the BSD, the Unix symbolic linking.
Yeah, exactly.
And
so when you create this thing, if you look at the directory in the C drive, where I've really only got 2 gigabytes free on that drive, if you actually look into that phony directory, it shows 50 gig free, which is what I have free on the E drive. It's really great.
Right.
So anyway, it worked just fine under the old iTunes. Everything went over to the E drive as I expected, even though it thought it was talking to the C drive. Under the new iTunes, it's as if it takes a snapshot of the drive's free space first, and then...
You're using a system that Apple doesn't support. It should work.
Yeah.
But remember, even though you have access to Unix commands like that, that doesn't guarantee that Apple apps or any app will honor those symbolic links.
Yeah,
and obviously it's confused by it. And I understand it worked before, but, again, it's not what they want you to do. If you go into Apple's advanced settings in iTunes and tell it where to store its music, does it also store the backups there, or will it still store the backups on your small drive?
It's my impression that there's no way to set it from within the program, and it was...
that's interesting, because you can tell it where the music lives.
Yes.
And but makes sense that perhaps, or doesn't make sense, but I can understand that it perhaps will not store the backups there.
Exactly.
That's an interesting question. I think that, the answer to your fundamental question is, well, Apple never said that they would use those symbolic links.
I guess there's more than one.
I've done that before with Mac, trying to use Unix. Symbolic links are like aliases or shortcuts, but they're more, they're kind of deeply written into the operating system. And applications aren't supposed to even understand them or know about them. They're just supposed to follow them.
Exactly.
But, that doesn't guarantee that Apple engineers decided to somehow use their own system.
I guess that's what happens when you get company stock.
Yeah. David Bix in our chat room says he also uses an SSD for his boot drive, but by putting the music folder on the storage drive, that larger second drive, he is able to get the backups and everything else there too. So I would try that little setting, that advanced setting that's built into iTunes where it's iTunes media folder location. I would try changing that.
I'll do that.
Yeah, that's how iTunes expects that change to happen. You go in there, it says iTunes. It's in the advanced section of the preferences, iTunes media folder location. You press change, and I've done the same thing, by the way. I should probably check. I have it. Actually, maybe I don't. I want it to be on a data drive, which is separate from the SSD, the boot drive. This is going to be more and more the case where you want to have a small, fast boot drive, because SSD drives, these solid-state flash drives, are very expensive and don't have a lot of capacity. You want it to have that for a boot drive, but you don't want to put data there. Any computer should support that. Even on Windows machines, I recommend that people have a boot drive that is the operating system and applications, and a data drive, whether it's a partition or an actual physical separate drive. It's always a good idea to separate data from the operating system. That way, if you have to do an upgrade, wipe the drive, whatever, your data's somewhere else where it's not going to be impacted. So this is really the better way to perform anyways, to have a fast boot drive where your applications and your operating system lie. And just tell all your applications to, no, don't use that. You know what you might try is, and this is what I did, is I told the whole operating system to use that second drive. I have a 2-drive Mac, solid-state drive for booting and applications. And then I went into the accounts settings, and I said, but by the way, my data drive is the data drive. It's not the boot drive. You could do that in the system preference pane under users and groups. If you option click or right click, I think that's how you do it. Oh, first I have to unlock it. Let's do that. You right click your name. You'll get an advanced options item. An advanced options item. If you select that, this is boy, to give you a big warning. Changing these settings might damage this account, et cetera, et cetera. But you can, in this place, say where the home directory for that user is. So I changed the home directory from the boot drive to a data drive. And I would try that. You'd think iTunes would at that point use everything from that data drive. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. I love you, Siri. It actually said that when I said, I love you, Siri. It said, you are the wind beneath my wings. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. I've been taking suggestions from the chat room about things to say to Siri. Some of them produce interesting results, some not. But clearly the programmers had some fun writing this. A lot of fun. Carl, Black Mountain, North Carolina. Hi, Carl. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Yeah, Leo. Hello from the East Coast. I'm 70 years old. Eyesight probably doing what everybody does at that age. I built my first computer, MSI 8080, back in the 70s, so I've been at this a while, and I'm thinking about getting one of the cheaper flat panel TVs to use as a monitor. Now, I know that's being done, but I don't know if it's just for movies. Can I do spreadsheets? Is the Excel discrimination going to be enough? Can I do video editing? Can I do all of that? Or what do I sacrifice by getting, I've been looking at a 26 or 32-inch Vizio, and what would be the things I'd want? I'm sure fast refresh rate and other stuff. What do you think?
Well, first of all, let me just say I am not worthy. If you built an MSI back in the 70s, that's pretty awesome. Carl, you're one of the originals, right? That was
Still got the solder burns.
That's great. So the issue on using a flat panel with a computer is really resolution, what we call native resolution, the number of dots. Typically, computer monitors have much higher resolution than televisions because televisions don't need more than 1,080 lines from top to bottom. So typically because that's what high def is, right? That nobody's demanding more than 1080p from a TV. So typically these TVs are 1900 by 1200 or whatever it is, 1948 by 1200. That's the highest resolution. Now that's not a bad resolution, for a monitor even. But remember the TV. Well, are you going to? Where is the TV going to be, Carl? Is it going to be at the computer, or is it going to be across the room?
Oh, no. It's going to be a monitor distance from my face, no different. I'm looking, maybe 2.5, 3 feet?
Yeah, so you want an easier-to-read screen for you.
Oh, yeah, that's what it is, and larger numbers, letters, all of that.
I think, frankly, that's probably going to work pretty well for you as long as you make sure that you get a TV with sufficient native resolution. What you'd really like is 1920 by 1280.
1920, 1280 would do it?
Yeah, but the closer you can get to that, the better. I don't, and I think if you go and you get a 1080p TV, it's going to work fine. You're going to want to look for one, of course, that will have a DVI input, unless your computer has HDMI out, but most computers don't.
Yeah, mine does. I'm using HDMI on the Dell monitor now.
Great. You're going to be fine then.
One last question. Got one feedback from the factory that said that theirs was good. I think it might have been Vizio. I'm not sure, but because they had what was called a gaming mode, and they said,
"Yeah, don't worry about." Are you gaming, Carl?
Oh no, God no.
So refresh rate doesn't matter on a spreadsheet. What they're talking about is that LCDs, all LCDs, including the computer LCDs, are a little slower than a tube TV or a plasma TV. So for gaming mode or action films or football, things like that, they have these modes where they're interpolating frames. Instead of giving you a 60 hertz refresh rate, they give you a 120 or a 240. But that information isn't in the TV signal, so they interpolate it. It gives you kind of an interesting look on TV. There's no point for a computer at all.
So I'm looking for the highest native resolution.
Let me qualify that because you're doing this for vision. You may not want the highest resolution. You may say, I want everything to be really big, and so then 720p might be fine. In fact, there's a couple of people in the chat room said they've done this for friends and family, and they will use a 720p TV set. Because, of course, the icons are bigger, the text is bigger, and so forth. What I worry about is that if the pixels the dots on the screen, what we're talking about is bigger dots on the screen now. If they're too big, you're going to actually see them if the TV's only at arm's length. And
right, I understand. But I see what you're saying, too. But I could actually change resolutions to get the...
You don't want to do... Now, this is the key, though. On an LCD, you want to always use native resolution if you can. Okay. Because with an LCD, in order to do a different resolution, they have to do interpolation and aliasing and weird stuff that will never give you a crisp display. So what you should do is go to the store and look at the TV and stand arm's length from it and see if you can see the dots. On a larger dot, dot per inch TV, fewer dots per inch TV, which is a 720p, you may see even the red, green, and blue. You may see the colors that combine to form white on that screen. So you want to be careful about that. If you can get them to show you something like a text on a white screen, that kind of thing, the kind of thing you're going to be looking at, I would look carefully at that from the distance you're using. Put some text if you can. You could even use the menus, would probably work fine.
Yeah, that should do it. But this is very doable, and the thing to remember...
Absolutely doable. Yeah, it's the native... The two words you want to remember are native resolution. You want to always operate at native resolution, and you want to make sure that the native resolution that you're using looks good, works for you.
Got it. Also, 55 years of ham. Congratulations. Welcome in.
How did I know you were a ham, Carl? You know why I knew? Because you said greetings from the East Coast of the United States. It sounded like we were DXing.
Well, that's not too impressive.
I knew immediately, Carl. Well, what's your call sign?
Whiskey Alpha 5, Golf Oscar Whiskey.
Whiskey Alpha 5, Golf Alpha Whiskey. This is Oscar Whiskey. This is W6TWT. It's great to talk to you, Carl.
Yeah, I've been following your metamorphosis into this old profession.
It's so fun to go back to analog radio. And yet, hams are so advanced. I hope you listen tomorrow. We're going to broadcast from Pacificon, the big West Coast ham convention. And we'll talk a little bit about what ham radio is doing for emergency. They've even, and we're going to talk to the guy who did this, fired up the old Marconi station out here on the coast. And, and they're actually using it to transmit. And we'll talk about what that is. Huge antenna array out there. It'd be very interesting.
I had an old Collins S line way back in the 50s. So.
Well, you'd like this Collins AM transmitter I've got in my studio here. It's pretty sweet.
I probably would. You make toast on it.
Yeah, you can. When you fire up those rectifiers. Carl, great to talk to you. I really appreciate
Good to
it.
talk to you. Thanks for the help.
Thank you so much. I want to talk a little bit before we get to our next call. We're going to talk to Tony in Buffalo. He's hacked his Apple TV, wants to share his experience. I think that sounds great. I'd like to know more about that. Tony in Buffalo, New York, you're next. Hi, Tony. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hi, Leo. Great to talk to you.
Thanks for calling. What can I do for? Well, I know what. You tried FireCore, huh?
Yeah, you pointed me there about a month or two ago, and it's really great. I love it.
Do you have the old Apple TV or the new Apple TV?
The new one.
So FireCore is, I actually haven't tried it on the new one. I should try it. I've tried it on the old one. It basically simplifies the process of hacking it. And they call it ATV Flash. It's from firecore.com. And you could put all this together and do it yourself, but it's so much easier to just let them do it. And what was it, 50, 60 bucks? It's not expensive.
Yeah, not even. I think it's...
it's 20 bucks. Oh, my goodness.
Right.
Good deal. So tell me how you use it. What do you like about it?
Oh, it's great. I can, stream my own movies from the Mac out to the TV.
That's number one. That's great.
Right. And, you can rent stuff on iTunes, your photos that you have in iPhoto. One of the things I'm really loving about it, Leo, is Plex, the Plex server.
I love Plex. Maybe we'll talk about that when we come back. I've got to take a break right now. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
I don't understand.
It's got a lot. Well, a good day to you, Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. 8888 Ask Leo is the phone number if you want to talk about tech. We've been talking a lot about the new iPhone 4S. And my recommendation, and I know that some of you would like to know, particularly those of you with iPhone 4s who don't get the upgrade price, should I buy? If you have an iPhone 4 and you're still under contract, in other words, you don't get a subsidized price, I would not. I would not. I think that there are some nice new features. It's faster. You won't notice much change. Its camera is better. Again, somewhat better. You still have a great camera in the iPhone 4. The biggest difference in the new iPhone, the 4S, is this speech recognition, the Siri assistant, which is impressive. We've been playing with it all day, and it's cool. But I don't know if it's worth the upgrade, and I have to think. Oops, sorry, Siri.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
I apologize. I'm not putting you down, Siri. I'm just telling people what I think, okay? It does talk to you. It's a little weird. It talks back to you, which is something Android does not do. Android has many of the same dictation features, and I would say comparable, although iPhone maybe is a little bit better at speech recognition in a quiet environment if you speak clearly. But that's part of the problem, is that most people use these speech dictation systems in substandard environments. It's noisy, or they're in the car, or there are people talking around them. And none of these systems, Android or iPhone, work well if there are other voices heard. If the TV's on, the radio's on, or there are people around you, good luck. So I suspect what will happen with this is it's cool. You'll play with it a lot at first, and then maybe less and less as time goes by. The new iPhone 5, as I started to say, I do believe, until Siri interrupted me, the new iPhone 5 I do believe will be out in June of next year. So I think, that will be somewhat improved over this. Maybe a better screen, maybe a smoother, slimmer form factor. Who knows what else? Probably fourth generation wireless connectivity, 4G. So those things will be enough of an improvement, in addition to the Siri, the better camera, that you might want to wait for that. It's up to you, of course. It's your money. the funny thing is the cost of a phone compared to the 2-year annual contract is not so much. Even if you have to pay a few $100s more because you're still under contract, you're paying, $1,000 or more a year for the phone itself. So it's 10-20% of the total cost per year of a phone to upgrade it. So that has to be your decision. I would wait, though, also because I think there's going to be new Android phones that will be pretty impressive as well. I think we're in a great time for people who want smartphones. It's very competitive out there. And the innovations are coming fast and furious, somewhat faster from Android than from Apple, because Apple's update cycle is slower. And for that reason, it might be worth waiting and seeing, first of all, what the next Google phone does, the Nexus Prime from Verizon and Samsung. And then secondarily, maybe to wait till next June. That's not so far to wait for the next iPhone 5. I think they'll start coming out in June again. That's my guess. I don't know. Fun, though, to play with, isn't it? Talk to me in a couple of weeks, and I'll let you know whether I'm still using it. My friend Mike Elgin is already complaining about battery life on the new iPhone. I haven't had it long enough. Just got it last night. It came in the mail, and I set it up last night. So I haven't even had it for a full day. So I don't know. It strikes me as to be roughly the same battery life as the old iPhone. Not a huge difference. iCloud might be another reason that you would at least want to upgrade to iOS 5 on your iPhone 3GS or 4, because that's automatic backup, cloud syncing, things like that. That's a good reason to do it. And if you can find somebody to buy your iPhone, this would be a good time. Gazelle, for instance, and Gazelle's a sponsor of the show, as you know, and people are getting a couple of $100 for their iPhone 4, sometimes more. If it's in good condition, that might make it worthwhile. If you have an iPhone 4 you can sell for a couple of $100, buy a new iPhone 4S for $500, maybe it's worth it then. You have to think about the advantages, and those are the advantages. Better camera and the Siri voice assistant. Somewhat less so, the faster processor. Moving on to Jim, Los Angeles. You're next. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Jim.
Hi, Leo. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. Hey, I was trying to clean out my hard drive, and I was deleting some programs. Unfortunately, I think I deleted one. Trying to watch videos now. It keeps telling me to download the Flash player. So I go in, I download the Flash player. It says it's finished and updated. And then I go to watch a movie or a video, and it does the same thing. It tells me to download that Flash player again.
Okay, the first thing that's very important when you're doing this, go to a website that you know to be good, youtube.com, for instance. Where are you going to watch this video? Is it a known site?
It's just one of, like on my Yahoo homepage, they have videos of...
I'll tell you why I say this. This is a notorious way to get malware on your system, and it usually comes through Facebook. You get a link on Facebook from a friend that says, hey, you ought to see the video I took of you last night.
Uh-oh.
Which is scary, because you go, oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
What did I do last night? I thought I was home. And so you click the link. It takes you to what looks like a Yahoo page or a YouTube page, but it says, oh, you need to upgrade your Flash player. When you say yes and you download that file and install it, it's not Flash, it's malware.
Uh-oh.
Does this sound familiar?
It could be. I was, like I said, I was deleting stuff off my hard drive and trying to clean it up when this all started.
I just be careful. The reason I say that is because after you download the, quote, improved Flash, it still doesn't work. And that's because it can never work. It's not a movie. It's downloading malware. So what I would suggest is, first of all, close your browsers, uninstall any Flash that you've got installed. Let's hope you don't have malware. Let's assume you don't. If you notice any other strange behaviors, you do, and now you got a bigger problem, but I'm not going to address that because I don't want it to be true. Right. Let's assume it's just a Flash problem, which is not unusual. So close all your browsers. Which browser do you use normally?
Just Windows
Explorer. Okay. And you keep your Windows up to date, right?
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
And you're using which version of IE? 8 or not?
Yeah.
You're probably 8. Yeah. So that's fine. You're probably okay here. So close every browser. Okay. Go to the programs and features in the control panel and uninstall any Adobe Flash. Then, instead of using the browser to get Flash, Get it from Adobe directly. And that means reopening a browser just temporarily. And let me give you the exact link. I think it's get.adobe.com/flashplayer. You know, now you know you're at Adobe, right? Because you typed it in yourself. Get.adobe.com/flashplayer. And download, they'll have a standalone version of the installer. That's what you want. Download that. Close the browsers and install Flash. Now, what it'll do is it'll install itself for all the browsers on your system.
Okay.
And usually that's a cleaner install. The other thing you could do is get Google's Chrome browser, which this is an interesting decision on Google's part, comes with Flash. And the reason Google did this is they modified it to operate in a more secure fashion. It's what we call sandboxed. So when you go to somewhere to watch video, the Flash runs, but it's running in its own enclosed, safe environment. So it can't affect your machine as much. You know, Flash has some notorious flaws and bugs in the past. You know, people have been able to use the Flash player to hack your system. So it's risky. You have to make sure you keep Flash up to date. So I think it's not a bad idea to go to get Google Chrome and use that as a browser instead. That will only make Flash work on Chrome. So if you don't want Chrome, if you want to use Explorer, you'll still need to do that, you know, get adobe.com and Flash Player and all that. But Chrome is at google.com/Chrome. Google.com/Chrome. And that's what I would suggest for a lot of people. That's a safer way to use Flash. And frankly, it's my preferred browser. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. We did mention Gazelle. I thought it'd be a good time to tell you about Gazelle.com. If you are looking to get a new iPhone, or maybe get rid of your existing iPhone and get a new Android phone, Gazelle.com is a great place to go whenever you have gadgets that have worn out their welcome. It's the easy way to sell or recycle almost any used electronic gadget from your home or office. And I say recycle because sometimes you have stuff that just doesn't work and you just want to get rid of it, and this is the good way to recycle as well. But let's just see. If you had an iPhone 4. See, I started typing it and it immediately gives me all the different models. Let's look at a 32-gig iPhone 4 and say it's in perfect condition. $222. $222. That gets you most of the way. In fact, more than most of the way if you're updating your contract. So this is really, I have to say, this is a great place to go to empty out your gadget drawer, empty out your gadget closet. iPhones, iPod Touch, HTC Sensation. You know, I played with a Droid Bionic the other day, and they're so slow taking pictures. I feel so bad for anybody who bought the Bionic from Verizon. Let's just see what we can get. If I want to get rid of my Bionic, let's just see. I got all the materials. No, it's free of water damage, of course. Let's see. $300. Then you can trade it in for a Galaxy 2S or S2, something that takes pictures at a reasonable size. I couldn't believe how slow it was. So there's a good example. Sometimes you buy something you wish you didn't. Gazelle.com. Notice, by the way, once you've got the price, you put it in a box. They'll give you the mailing labels so you don't have to pay for it. And you select your payment, whether it's PayPal, check, or Walmart gift card or Amazon gift card. And I reckon if you use Amazon, get the Amazon gift card because you get 5% bonus value. They kind of rebate their affiliate fee. Isn't that nice? Kindles, want to get the new Kindle? Get rid of the old Kindle? Gazelle. Don't sell it. Gazelle it. Gazelle.com. And by the way, they do responsible recycling on gadgets that have no value. They also wipe your data for you. They have their data experts who will do that for you, too, so you don't have to worry about that. Gazelle.com. They're great. Okay. What was the question you want me to ask, Siri? Huh? Who are you going to call? You think it'll do that? Who are you going to call?
Who would you like to call?
Ghostbusters. See, it can't be silly with this one.
I don't see Ghostbusters, Kendrick, in your address book. Should I look for
It has to be. If you say who call the word call, it's going to have to call. It can't mess around with that. Right. Oh, who are you going to call? We asked Siri, who are you going to call? And it did not say Ghostbusters. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888. Ask Leo. That's the phone number. Who are you going to call? It's we're having a lot of fun playing with this virtual assistant. But, to really work, it's got to be more than fun. It's got to be useful. It's got to be the kind of thing you'd use all the time. They show in the video, Apple shows in the video for the iPhone 4S and the Siri assistant, a guy running along, and he's wearing the earbuds, and he says, make an appointment and all that. And I just don't know if it's noisy, how well that's going to work. I found when I was in the car, it worked pretty well with the car noise in the background. But, of course, if there's other people in the car, that's not going to be good if they're talking, especially if they're my kids. 8888 Ask Leo. By the way, we will be broadcasting tomorrow from Pacificon, which is the big ham show in Santa Clara, California. We're going to take our microphones down there and meet some hams and talk about the ham business, as well as continue to take your calls. Pacificon is at the Marriott Santa Clara, and I'll be there 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Pacific time if you want to stop by and say hi or just listen to the show. Zach in Tampa, Florida, you're next. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Zach.
Hi, good afternoon, Leo. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Excellent. I heard you had an earlier caller talking about Legoland, and just this past week they opened up Legoland in Florida.
It's awesome, isn't it?
I haven't been able to go. It's like I really want to go, but just don't have the time to because school's in session. I'm only in high school, by the way.
If of course, there's a lot of Legolands for little kids. It really is kind of the little kid Disneyland. But if you're into Lego, there's some amazing stuff as well. And some of the models they have are just, hundreds of thousands of pieces, many, many hundreds of man-hours to build. It's inspiring. And I really wish that they would make available, they must have some sort of software, Lego CAD software, where they just take, because, for instance, Volvo, they've got an advertising deal with Volvo, and they had a full-size Volvo made out of Lego bricks. And I just, they must have some sort of program where they scan in a Volvo, and then and then it says where to put the bricks. That'd be fun to have. I don't know. Is there such a thing exist? That'd be kind of cool. Anyway, enough about that. What can I do for you, Zach?
Anyways, I'm not this tech savvy towards the subject of computer repairing, the actual OS, but this is my parents' computer, and it involves Windows Vista, and I'm sure you don't like that OS anymore because I've been hearing you talk about 7 being.
I was never fond of Vista, to be honest, but 7 has really taken Vista and made it work.
Anyways, yesterday somehow their computer crashed and it wouldn't even get past the boot loading screen where the green bars going across at the bottom, and it wouldn't reboot itself either, so I wouldn't know what would happen. So I tried booting it into safe mode, and what happened was the command prompt was showing all the drivers loading and such, but then it suddenly stopped.
Almost certainly, Zach. I mean, it could be a number of things, but almost certainly the most common by far failure in this case is hard drive failure. So the good news is it doesn't mean the hard drive's completely dead. It means that the key files that you need to boot Windows are munged up. But there's hope here because the data is probably okay on there.
Mm-hmm. Their assumption was they're not all that tech savvy, like I said, but their assumption would have been the night before when it was functioning perfectly, they had updated Windows, and I'm not sure.
Nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with that. Just ignore them on that one. So you have a couple of it's a hard drive. So you have a couple of choices. If there's data on there they absolutely need, you're going to want to recover it. Did they back up recently?
Yeah, they actually reformatted it this morning.
Oh, good. All right. And when they reformatted it, did it work?
it is loaded and such. They did they're using the old multiple CD method of backing up, and I offered them to borrow my like terabyte hard drive, which I hardly store stuff.
Well, Zach, listen to me. It's okay. This is unnecessary detail. Did they reformat and reinstall Windows?
It's an HP desktop, and and they use the recovery utility on it to store the OS.
And is it starting up now?
Yes, it starts up now.
Okay, so that's what was wrong. Windows got messed up. It's probably a hard drive error. Could be fixed permanently now, or it could be it's going to happen again if the hard drive's starting to go bad. If you had a program like SpinRite, it's a little expensive. It's $80. You could run it on that drive and kind of make all the parts of the drive that weren't working properly, kind of map them out as bad sectors, and then reinstall Windows, and you'd probably have no problem going forward. If you're a little worried, you could get a new hard drive for them. But the fact is they were able to reinstall Windows, and all is good. Now they need to restore their files.
Mm-hmm. Now, I have a question about the program SpinRite. They do offer a trial version, right?
No, they do not. They do not offer a trial version.
Okay.
Steve says you got to buy it because the reason is people usually only use it. I know where you're going with this, Zach. They use it once, and they're happy, and they go forward. And Steve would never sell any copies. A good idea is to bring it to a shop where most good computer shops will have a copy of SpinRite. A new hard drive is cheap, Zach. It might be a good time just to give them a new hard drive for $80. This is the problem. It's less than SpinRite to put a new drive in. Put a new drive in, and then do what you did this morning, which is restore Windows. You can use the HP disks. Once you do that, by the way, the very first thing you do, before you even restore your data, the very first thing you do is you go online, you get it working so it can go online, and you run Windows Update till there's nothing more to update. Because remember, those restore disks are from Vista era. There have been a lot of patches and fixes since that computer came out and since those restore disks were made. And you want to make sure you have all those patches before you spend any time on the internet. Because, frankly, you're at risk. So get that guy, continue to update till all the critical updates are done. It may take a few hours and a number of reboots, but now you've got it up to date. Then you can restore your data, and you should be good to go. You'll be done by dinner time. But that's what I would suggest. Go out, get a new drive, because it's possible that the update happened. Maybe they unplugged the computer in the middle of the update, or power went out, or just something strange happened and it spewed some data, and there's nothing really wrong with the drive. Not a bad idea. It's cheap enough to replace the hard drive. If you know somebody with SpinRite, you want to buy SpinRite, or you can take it to a shop with SpinRite, you could have them run it on that drive. That almost certainly would restore it to good as new condition. And you could continue to use it in that case as well. But the problem is that SpinRite costs about the same as a brand new, 2 terabyte drive. You're a nice boy to help. Leonard, Seattle, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Leonard.
Hey, how you doing there, Leo?
I am well. What can I do with you?
Okay, I have a question for you. Okay, I am legally blind in one eye and vision impaired. And I'm wondering if the iPod Touch for Apple has got something that would work for, like, say, people like me.
Oh, yeah. Apple's done a great job on both the iPhone and the Touch with accessibility. I know a number of blind users who use it. It's great. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. If you like the music, thank my musical director, Kyle Benham. He's running the board today and, of course, picking all the great songs. And you can find out what songs he played on his Google Plus account. Just follow Kyle Benham, KYLEBENHAM. Or we'll put it on our show notes at techguylabs.com once Kyle posts it. He also posts a link to a Spotify playlist so you can listen to them all on Spotify, which I loves. Mentioned Google Plus. Google's quarterly results came out this week. Oh, boy, are they making money. Hand over fist. And Google Plus now, 40 million users. That's very impressive for a product that is still in beta and has only been out a couple of months. This is clearly Google's attempt to at least take their seat at the table in social networking. Maybe not beat Facebook, maybe not beat Twitter, but certainly to get that kind of data. We were talking about the Siri personal assistant, the ability to dictate to your iPhone. And, of course, Google will want to do the same thing with Android phones. And my friend Mike Elkin wrote an interesting piece in his newsletter and on his Google Plus account about this. He says this is the beginning of the era of artificial intelligence, of smart machines listening and talking back to us, of HAL 9000 from 2001: A Space Odyssey. This is the beginning of it. And I'd agree with him. But he points out that Apple's lead may be very temporary because, of course, the success of this kind of assistant depends a lot about what it knows about you, what it knows about the world around it. The context is so important. And who has more of that information than Google? You know, Apple is a hardware company. They're not really a virtual assistant company. In fact, they acquired the technology from a company called Siri, and they've done a great job. And they're using Google, of course, for the search, and they're using Wolfram Alpha, which is a knowledge engine that's very smart, to answer questions like, you know, what is the number pi and so forth. But ultimately, Google knows even more. It knows a lot about the places around you. Apple's been trying to collect this information, but Google gets it every day. We provide it every day. So Mike's position, I think he's probably right, is that watch out, because while Apple may have launched the first salvo in this battle, it's far from over. And Google, and I would add Facebook, could come back and do some amazing things. It's exciting. We are in very interesting times. If you're interested in technology, if you follow technology, this stuff's happening faster and faster and faster. And I do think we'll look back 5-10 years from now and say, yeah, it all began with Siri. And it's not too far off that we will be having conversations with our hardware. And it will be very helpful. I think it's already kind of cool and kind of, and more than cool, helpful. Karen is in San Diego. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, listening on the great KOGO in San Diego. Hi, Karen.
I'm listening on TWiT Live, too. I love you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, TWiT.tv. You can watch and listen.
Oh, it's very fun, very fun.
Thank you.
I'm hoping that you might be able to help me. I've got an 11-year-old son who is a big, big fan of Minecraft. So we had...
Oh, boy. How much do you see of him?
Well, we have to put lay the law that he really does some fabulous creative.
Oh, it's so interesting. So let me explain a little bit before we get too far down the road what Minecraft is. Minecraft. It's an online game that came out not so long ago, maybe a year ago, and was kind of a surprise hit because it's 8-bit. It's not super high-res graphics by any means. It's kind of blocky. And you wander around in this world, and initially it seems very bewildering because it's not much of a game there. Turns out it's more like Legos, really. It's kind of digital Legos where you gather materials and build things. And so you're saying he's building things.
He's doing a lot of crafting, and he's very crafty, we tell him. Hello. And
there he is. What's your name?
Ryan.
Hi, Ryan. You like Minecraft, huh?
Yes, very much.
How many hours a day are you spending on Minecraft?
2 to 3.
Wow.
On good days. Don't let him kid you.
This is such a challenge, Karen, and in a way I'm glad my kids are teenagers now because, I walked around in San Diego at Legoland, at the San Diego Zoo, downtown, it's Old Town, and everywhere you go, you see people with their faces buried in devices.
Yeah.
Kids, everybody. We all are spending more time with the screen than we are with real life, and I have mixed feelings about that.
You and me both.
Yeah, it's tough for a parent because on the one hand, you know that this is the world he's growing up in. And while it seems trivial what he's doing, it's not. It is, in fact, a creative exercise, and it may very well make him a better suited for the work world in 10 years.
Well, that's our consideration, but this is not really why I've called you today. We have actually expanded it out a bit in that he is also a big fan, of course, of the YouTube videos about Minecraft, and so wanted to create one of his own.
Oh, great. Yes.
We're totally Mac-based here, and we researched and found that McVide screen cap was a good alternative, so we picked that up, and we tried to make it work. And we are finding it is so choppy and laggy. We're not able to match the screen rate of what's happening on screen to the program itself. And so, you know, we've looked up online and we've gone to their website for any recommendations, and it has so many buttons, the quality, the bit rate, the PFPSs, and the samples per second. We were hoping you might have a recommendation.
It is. It's complicated, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I'm looking in the chat room, and Tonda Gasa says most people who are recording their screens with Minecraft are using a program called Fraps. Unfortunately, it's a Windows program.
Correct.
It's you know, that's the thing I would ask is if you can find some Mac Minecraft users, what are you using? The program that I mostly use when it comes to screen captures on the Mac is called ScreenFlow, but it's not free. It's actually kind of expensive.
Check on that, you know?
Yeah. Let me see. I think it's $100 from Telestream. Yeah, it's $100. Now, one of the things that's cool about ScreenFlow is it lets you record the audio of the game, but also your own narration, and you can even, if you have a camera on your Mac, which I'm sure you do, record your video, and he can then edit videos, insert his picture, and so forth. That may not be what he wants to do. It's not kind of the standard for Minecraft. Usually people just show what they did, but they will narrate sometimes over it.
Well, and he's gotten really good at iMovie. He's created some stop animation.
Well, see, okay, so this is what I'm thinking, Karen. I'm you know, thinking creatively here. What we would like to do is exactly that. Is Minecraft's fine, but wouldn't it be even more useful if you learned about narration, storytelling, video editing? These are very valuable skills that for sure have application in the real world.
Right.
And you want to, Minecraft is very constrained. It's like learning with Legos. You want to eventually expand it out so that his creative skills get a bigger playing field.
Yeah.
I don't think that when he's 25, he's going to make a living with Minecraft design.
we don't know.
But who knows? Who knows? Yeah, Nerd, he has a Mac. I'm asking, QuickTime X will record the screen. It's not the settings so much. I'll tell you, with settings, and what was the name of the program you're using again?
It's MacVide. MacVide. Sorry, I'm just a mommy.
I'm not familiar with that one. So, hold on a sec. We're going to take a break. I'm going to come back.
All right.
But I will give you some of the basic settings that will help him do it less choppily. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888 Ask Leo. We're talking to Karen and her son. What's your son's name again, Karen?
Ryan.
Hi, Ryan. So we're talking to Karen and Ryan. Ryan's a Minecrafter. Really cool game, Minecraft. Is it Minecraft.com or Minecraft.org?
.net.
.net. I knew it wasn't .com. MINECRAFT.net. You can play it on any computer because it's Java, so Mac or Windows, and it's really cool. Costs a little bit of money, but not much. And now he wants to make movies, screencasts of his amazing contraptions. What's the coolest thing you've built so far, Ryan?
I would have to say, I don't really know.
He made something the other day that these things come out and it shoots diamonds at you, and the chicken shooting range, all kinds of weird.
And a lot of people are really making these movies. If you go to YouTube and search for Minecraft, there's some amazing stuff out there.
Yeah, the Yogcasters are huge in his book, and they're just these English guys that are funny as heck. I wish they'd clean up their language. But
well, welcome to the internet. You know, there are a ton of now, most people are doing it on Windows and they're using Fraps. But there are a ton of other solutions on the Mac. I've mentioned ScreenFlow, which I really like, $99. There's iShowU from Shiny White Box.
Okay.
That's $20. That might be the one to use. Here's the deal. And QuickTime, by the way, records video, too. I think, though, that the new QuickTime 10 does not record audio, game audio, but just the video, and that's kind of a deal breaker. But it is free. So, Ryan, you might try QuickTime 10 and see if... the issue is, of course, you want smooth frame rates.
Yeah, I don't need the volume. I just need the frame rate to be good because it's actually going to be a YouTube video connected with a song.
Oh,
you know,
so you don't care about the Minecraft audio?
Not right now, no.
Okay.
He's made a song like the one you just played. So
Yeah.
we want...
Yeah. Oh man. You know what, Karen? Don't worry. This kid is amazing. He's gonna do just fine. I would let him continue. You know, this is how I got into computers, was with games, and then I wanted to write my own software. And so you're already getting into programming a little bit, Ryan?
Not really. The only thing I know how to do is, like, change the texture pack or something. Or
So Karen...
change the data or something.
I'm just going to give Karen a little hint here. Alice, A-L-I-C-E, like the girl's name, .org.
Okay.
And it's software that was designed at Carnegie Mellon for kids to design their own games. It's kind of like Minecraft in the sense that you have control of this universe. It's really fun, and it teaches them object-oriented programming. So there's a little bit of a little secret there. Don't tell Ryan I told you. It's good for him.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Well, that looks like a good link. 10 clever screen recording tools for iMac. This is from appstorm.net. Now, the key on this is I would start with QuickTime, Ryan, because QuickTime X, you have the latest QuickTime, will record the video, and it will do it very smoothly. So I would start with that.
QuickTime can actually record.
You already have it. Yeah, you can see there's in the edit button of QuickTime, there's a new it says new screencast. So you can
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, or file button, I guess. Yeah, new screen recording under the file button. So that'll do a good job, and it's free, and you got it.
Okay. Is it QuickTime Player or just QuickTime?
Yeah, QuickTime Player.
Okay.
Under
I
the
didn't know
file.
we
I didn't either. My chat room is amazing. New screen recording.
I want a chat room like that.
I know. You know what? Forget Siri. I've got the chat room.
That's right.
All I have to do is say something out loud, and they not only do they understand it, they give me good answers. So you have a late model, you know, Snow Leopard or later OS 10, you'll have that.
Terrific. Okay.
So that's a good start. There's Show You, I Show You, which is very good. That's only $20. That'll get the audio from the game. I Show You with the letter U, not Y-O-U. And a good price, $20. Now,
I got all that information. Terrific.
yeah. And the key on this, if you get stuttering, is to do a lower refresh rate or high. Play with the settings, medium quality, that kind of thing. But I think that a good program is going to be able to keep up with Minecraft pretty well.
Very neat. Wonderful.
Good luck, Karen. This is great. I want to hear more about Ryan's stuff. Stay in touch, will you, Ryan?
Yep.
Okay. Good luck.
Thanks so much, Leo.
All right. My pleasure, Karen. I'm jealous. You got a smart kid there, creative kid, and that's what you really want to encourage, is not so much using the technology to kind of hide, which I think a lot of us do, especially us introverts and nerds. We bury our heads in our screens and don't talk to people. But take that impulse and use it to get them to create. My son, for instance, Henry, who's 17, took a while, but he kind of liked games. It didn't go crazy over him. He finally found out that he could make music. He started with GarageBand. And then I said, well, I want to support that. So we went out and got Logic Express, which is a professional-grade music creation tool. And he fell in love with it. And I can't get him out of his room. But that's okay because he's composing music. And that's fine. He still likes his friends. And what's great about composing music in this case is you can play it for your non-nerdy friends, and they go, "Oh, cool beats, man." You can put it online and impress strangers. There's some reward for that. But I think if you have kids today, understand that these kids do get sucked in by this stuff. It is addictive, of course. But if you can steer it in a creative direction and get them to use their brains, start sharing it with others. I love the idea of making a YouTube video, so that it becomes more than just a way to hide out. That's really the problem I have with video gaming in general. Is that video gaming by itself isn't creative. It's a kind of numbing. I love Alice.org because it's basically a video game programming language that they can use that will teach them programming without their knowledge. I love that. We're going to take a break, come back in just a second, talk to Henry in Upland, California. He's got a great website he wants to share with the world. How do I market my stuff on the internet? It's a good question. Perry in Upland, California. Perry, Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Looking forward to talk to you.
Okay.
Very nice. Leo, I have a website. Someone helped me to put it together. I'm wondering that how could I market this? Would you mind if I give it to you to see?
Well, that's always, I'm getting emails from a lot of people saying, can you stop it with having people call in to plug their website? And, of course, Perry knows perfectly well that the best way to plug your website is to call up Leo and say, here's my website. Can you tell me how to market it? So here's what I'm going to do, Perry. No, I'm not going to let you plug it because I don't want to encourage too much of that. But I am going to tell you how to market it. Besides going on a national radio show and telling the world, which is a very good way to market it, unless the host says no, which I'm afraid I'm going to have to start doing. But the rules are basic, In fact, I'm about to give a speech. I'm going to go to Vegas next month and give a speech for a I wish what is the name of that group I'm talking to? It's an SEO web marketing company. People interested in learning about exactly this. And I'm going to tell you what I'm going to tell them, which is don't use tricks. Don't use magic rules. Make great stuff. And then reach out to your community, the people who are interested in your stuff. And you do that by participating in other websites, by getting out there and letting them know you exist. There are no tricks. Make great stuff. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Well, a good day to you, Leo Laporte here, the tech guy, and it's time to talk computers, the internet, cell phones, camcorders, MP3 players, home theater, and all that jazz at 8888 Ask Leo, the website, techguylabs.com. If you've got a question, a comment, a suggestion, we've been talking a lot about the iPhone 4S. I should mention the passing of a legend in the computer world. I have his book somewhere. Kernighan and Ritchie, the first computer programming book probably I ever bought. It's called The C Programming Language. Dennis Ritchie was a very important person to the early days of computing. He worked at Bell Labs, I believe. Actually, I should, let me pull up his biography because I just assumed that. That's where the C programming language and Unix were created, and he was one of the important people behind that. C, of course, used for many years for writing software, and derivatives of C continue to be the most dominant languages. He and Ken Thompson created Unix, which is the operating system that is, to this day, the most widely used operating system. If you consider Linux a derivative of Unix, and OS X also a derivative of Unix. He got the National Medal of Technology from President Clinton in 1999. Yeah, he was at Bell Labs. They renamed it Lucent Technologies. He was the head of the software research department until 2007 when he retired. People probably don't, the oldsters like me remember the name. Kernighan and Ritchie was kind of the book, K&R they called it, for learning to program. Beautifully written, elegant, just like the language he developed and the operating system. Dennis Ritchie passed away at the age of 70 in his home in New Jersey on October 12th. Front page news on the New York Times. I was glad to see that. We talked a lot about Steve Jobs passing and how important Steve Jobs was. And I think in many ways, Ritchie was as important. He certainly was a pioneer in the early days of computing. And often these guys who changed everything 20, 30 years ago. He actually created Unix in 1970, so 41 years ago, are forgotten nowadays. And let's not forget them because, hey, we're standing on their shoulders. Gabrielle in Irvine, California. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Gabrielle.
I'm hoping that you can help me. This is probably a very basic question, but here goes. On my laptop, I have two printers kind of set up. One is for home, one is for work. And somehow my computer seems to know when I'm home to use the home printer and when I'm at work to use the work printer. I don't know if that has to do with my wireless network or something.
How do it know?
Every once in a while, I'll be trying to print something that's kind of like on. It's one of those systems where it'll say, you know, you can only print this once, so make it work, make it happen.
Why do people do that? Why?
I know, because what happens is every once in a while, either I will accidentally select the wrong printer, or it will automatically just go to the wrong printer.
Yeah, and then you're stuck because you printed it once, except you never got a copy.
Exactly.
Now, the good news is, and I'm wondering if this works, Gabrielle, when you go to work, then it should still print. In other words, you should plug it in the printer or actually log onto your network at work, and all of a sudden that thing will print. Because what happens when Windows prints is it spools it out to the hard drive and then looks for the printer. If it doesn't find it, it's still on the spool waiting for the printer to show up.
Right, but my question is, what if I need that before I get to work? What if I need it while I'm home? Do I actually have to go to work, or is there a way to tell my computer, strike that, reverse it, I want to send it to the other one? Like the print.
Not if it's print once only, because those print once only things are devious. So here's what you do to get around them.
Okay.
Which is why nobody should ever use this technology anyway. It just frustrates people, and it doesn't stop anybody from making hundreds and thousands of copies.
Yes.
So, you know, the problem with copy protection is it only gets in the way of honest people. So here's what you do. Instead of printing to a printer, you print to a file.
Oh.
Windows has that capability. My recommendation is to get a plugin that lets you print to a PDF file. Because then this PDF file, you could put on a disk, you could take with you, you can print it anytime you want. I always do this when I buy concert tickets or airplane tickets, you know, where you print out the boarding pass. Instead of printing to a printer, I always print it to a PDF. Because then if I screw up or whatever, I still got it on my laptop. I can print it another time. I can email it to myself on another computer. I've got it.
So I need a special plugin to be able to do that?
Well, you know, Microsoft makes a print to PDF plugin. It doesn't cost anything. Or you may already have it if you have a PDF reader. I like Foxit. So there are lots of ways to print to PDF.
Okay.
There are some free ones. There are some, you know, Cute PDF is a good one.
Okay.
And what happens is it basically sets up another printer. So you'll see your two printers that you've already got set up, your business and your home printer. And you'll see a third one that says PDF. And when you print to that, the print only print once thinks you've printed it and says you printed it. You never can print it again, but you've got a file that you can print anytime you want, over and over and over again.
That is fantastic.
So
Save me. Thank you.
The one we've recommended before that people really like is open source and free. It's called PDF Creator.
Okay.
And you can download that from SourceForge. But just Google PDF Creator, one word, and you'll find it. And it just adds a printer driver to your printer, to your computer that prints to a PDF anytime you want.
Great.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, and then now if somebody is out there who does this, you may only print it once, is listening, ha! So there, you stupids. Why are they doing that? It just makes people crazy for no good reason. And and believe me, if you're one of the people who wants, you know, to steal whatever and print 100 copies of whatever, you know about this.
Okay.
The pirates know about it. It's only the nice, honest people like Gabrielle who don't. So stop it.
Thank you.
And now you do too. That's the other side effect of, by the way, the other side effect of copy protection, which this is it teaches people how to be pirates. Is that what you want? Yeah. So PDF, it's completely legal. This is fine. It's easy. It's a good thing to add. Somebody in the chat room works for Wells Fargo. He says Wells Fargo puts PDF Creator on all 10,000 of their laptops.
Brilliant.
That's a high recommendation.
It is.
Yeah.
Thank you. Have a
Thank
great
you. My pleasure, Gabrielle. PDF Creator. It's on there. It's your third printer. I always do that. When I print a boarding pass or concert tickets, I don't want to have to go back and go through that process of, go to Ticketmaster and get the thing back and all of that stuff. Now, when you install PDF Creator or any of these freebies, you might want to check carefully. Don't click. There might be additional, and David is telling me there's an additional toolbar that it will install. Don't. It's not a bad thing, but you don't want it. Just say no. Sometimes that's a way of making a little extra money. Chris Tuttle saying state employment security sites allow users to download payment period documents, but only allow it to be downloaded once. Yeah. I mean, there's reasons to do this. I understand, but it doesn't work. It's easy to get around. So there. Abe in New York, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Abe.
How are you?
I'm great. Oh, hang on. The magic sound is playing that tells me I have to shut up, but you will be next, okay, right after the break. Thanks, Abe. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Dr. T in the chat room saying, hey, Leo, you've been talking to your car for years. It's true. I have Ford Sync, and it has voice recognition, but it's more limited than the voice recognition built into the iPhone. And the iPhone voice recognition does some interesting things. I can make appointments, set reminders, set an alarm. The first thing I did when I went to bed at 1 in the morning last night after opening the box from AT&T and getting the iPhone activated was I talked to Siri, the virtual assistant on the iPhone, and I said, set alarm for 9 a.m. And it does it.
You already have an alarm set for 9 a.m. I turned it on.
And that's something my car doesn't do and Android doesn't do. I think Android will do it. I think it'll do it very soon. I think Apple's this may be Steve Jobs' kind of final legacy. I mentioned this before, and certainly when I eulogized Mr. Jobs last week, I talked about the fact that he didn't necessarily invent anything new. The iPhone wasn't the first smartphone. The Apple II wasn't the first personal computer. The iPod wasn't the first MP3 player. But what he did is he would break a category open. Siri is not the first speech recognition, not even on the iPhone. But as always, what Apple has done is they've made it better in certain ways that make it more accessible, more popular. I believe that we will look back and say this is Steve Jobs' final legacy, which was artificial intelligence speech recognition on a device that listened to you and talked back to you and did what you asked it to do. It's primitive. It's new. It's not all there yet. I think others will take this and improve on it, probably Google. But I do believe we'll look back 5-10 years from now at this Siri assistant on the iPhone 4S and say, yeah, that's when it started. Once again, and I think this may be the last time, Steve Jobs took an existing technology and productized it, made it something people understood, wanted, and loved, and it changed the world. And this might be the last one. So we were talking to Abe in New York and unfortunately got interrupted. Hi, Abe. Thanks for hanging on. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Off the subject, but I've been a fan ever since your Tech TV days, if you want to go back in time. So.
Thank you, Abe. I appreciate it. Yeah, 1998 to 2004.
Exactly. Yeah. So here's where I need your help. I have an old HP HDX 18, one of those desktop replacement dinosaurs, and the screen has died. And I've heard, obviously we know HP's reputation is pretty bad anyway. So
bad that they're actually getting out of the PC business.
Exactly. They've sort of given up.
Yeah.
But in the interim, I have to make a decision. Is it even worth looking into replacing the screen? I've heard that one of the problems seems to be wiring, connecting the computer to the screen tends to go bad, or is it maybe even the motherboard going, and then it's just a waste of time?
Well, you don't know until you bring it in, and a lot of times shops will say, well, we'll look at it, but it'll cost you $150 just to look at it. It very often is, you know, if you look at that laptop, it opens and closes, and right where it opens and closes several times, maybe more a day, in that hinge is the ribbon connector that connects the motherboard, which is in the base of the laptop, to the screen, which is in the thing you're opening and closing. And so you're right, that often goes bad. That ribbon cable can get frayed or broken. But it also could be the motherboard. It could be the backlight in the laptop. Sometimes it looks like the screen's black, but if you hold it out in daylight, you can kind of faintly see the screen.
No, there was some test I did to see if the backlight was working, like shine a flashlight into it.
Right.
I could see nothing, so that isn't it.
Good, okay.
The other thing is, because it is an HP, let's say it is just the screen for now, is it still not worth spending $300-400 on?
It's pretty old. It's pretty old. How old is that laptop?
About 3 years old. Not ancient, but about 3 years old. It's running on Vista, an old, what processor? Trying to see what's written on
It's
here.
probably a Core 2 Duo. It's not, you know, it's not so old that it's obsolete, but it's probably old enough that it's not worth putting a lot of money into it. A 3-year-old laptop is kind of at the end of the line, to be honest.
Gotcha. So it's not even worth it because eventually...
Well, here's what I would do. If you need it to be portable and you're not going to buy another laptop, yeah, fix it. My suggestion is hook up. There'll be a port on there for an external monitor, right?
Right now I'm using my high-def TV by HDMI out.
So good. So now, well, actually, that tells you something, by the way. That tells you that the motherboard's not broken because the video's still working.
I have audio problems, like when I'm using the HDMI cable, I don't get the sound if I'm playing any video files on the computer, so that makes me think it could be the motherboard.
No, it also could be that it's older generation HDMI. A lot of computers just transmitted video over HDMI, and they expect you to hook up the audio cable separately.
Gotcha.
That's just an implementation issue. The fact that you're able, you know, this is what I was going to suggest. You can still use that computer with an external monitor. Just treat it as a desktop. If you really need it to be portable, you can get it fixed. You know, you're right. At the point where it costs, there's a price point at which it doesn't make sense. Where if it's $500, you could buy a new computer that's faster and better for $500.
Right.
So you have to decide, and the problem is to find out it's going to cost you.
But I think I found a place in New York that seems to have a decent reputation, and they say free estimates while you wait. So
I like it. I think that it probably is something pretty simple because we know the motherboard video is still working because that HDMI works.
So here's the magic question. What is that price point where if it's, say, we'll fix it for this amount, what makes sense and what suddenly becomes too expensive?
Well, I think the easiest thing to do would be to go look at what a comparable Dell would cost to replace it. It's probably about $500 or $600.
Right.
So clearly it's not worth that. If they say $400, which is, you know, it depends. Again, if it's just the ribbon and it's not real hard to take it apart, it might only be a couple $100. Okay. And at that point, I think you're probably worth it.
Okay. Terrific. Leo, thanks.
My pleasure, Abe. Anytime. It's a difficult one because you could take that $200 and put it towards a new computer. And remember, this is Windows Vista running on a Core 2 Duo. It's probably, you know, you get a new computer running Windows 7, it's probably going to be almost twice as fast. Does that matter? I don't know. You got a big 17-inch screen. You like that. There's an advantage to that. So it's a difficult decision. That's really more a personal decision. But you can do the math. You can see what it would cost to replace that exact computer, and certainly you don't want to pay more than that. That's an easy one. If it costs $800 to replace the computer and $850 to fix the computer, replace the computer. John, Ontario, California. You're next. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hey, John.
Hi, Leo. Thank you so much for taking my call.
My pleasure. Thanks for calling.
Hey, I have in my work, I utilize a variety of customer documents, and I'm wanting to convert them over into a database program. And my goal is to ultimately be able to access my main computer and that database through an Android tablet. Do you have any recommendations on a database program that's supported by Android or that supports Android?
Oh, if it were an iPad, it'd be so easy. Because is there some reason you want to get an Android tablet?
price point and overall functionality.
All right. Well, let's talk, because I want to try to talk you out of it right after the break. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. I like that song, Baby, Don't You Do It. Kyle Benham, our musical director, aiming that, I think, at our caller. Did we lose him? No, we didn't. John in Ontario, California. Baby, don't you do it, John.
Hi. Okay.
So John, let's talk a little bit about your app. So you have customer forms?
Well, it's a variety of customer documents, varied documents that I need to consolidate into one program.
Okay.
And at this point, I'm probably going to be utilizing FileMaker.
Wow, then you must get an iPad.
Well, okay, when I look at the cost difference.
It's not, look, a couple $100. Not worth it. How much is your time worth? How much do you charge? How much do you bill out an hour?
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. You're saving $200. I bet you bill that out in an hour or two.
Okay. I pretty much have probably made my commitment to go Android.
Oh, okay. So let me just quickly, for those of you who have not made a commitment to go Android, just say that he got the first half right, which is you use FileMaker. I'm going to give you there is an option, John, but you use FileMaker, which is a database program on the desktop, Windows or Mac, which has a app on the iPad that you can sync up. So you get the same app, same appearance, same design, custom design on the iPad that you get on the desktop. Very simple, very straightforward, and I think a nice solution. A lot of custom FileMaker apps out there. There are a lot of people who do this. But erase it, because it's not what you're going to do. You really want to get a Samsung Galaxy Tab or something like that.
Well, by the way, FileMaker would charge you an extra $200 for the program to sync it, because I already inquired before I made my commitment.
Oh, yeah, there is a price to FileMaker. I agree. But however, that would be the cleanest, most elegant solution. I generally see people. I'm an Android fan. Don't get me wrong. My primary phone is an Android phone. My problem is not with Android itself or with the phones. It's with the Android tablets. They are not mature. Honeycomb's not great. And there's a real dearth of applications. Having said that, the other way to do this is with Google Docs.
Oh.
You can have a Google Docs database with forms in word processing. They actually have a form application. You can do almost everything you want. It won't be one unified thing, but it'll be, accessible on the web and on any tablet, Apple or Android. And the Android tablets have a Google Docs app that works quite nicely.
Okay.
Or you can use the browser to access it. So Google Docs will do everything you want. I think it's going to be a little clunkier, but it will do everything you want.
Is there a script-to-text program out there that would allow me to write and turn it into text?
Handwriting?
Yeah.
No. Well, yes, but they won't work very well.
Okay.
So you want to take a handwritten document and scan it and then turn it into text?
Well, you know how the old, I believe it was Palm, used to have a script program that you could, through a series of motions with the pen?
Yeah, it's Graffiti. That is available, by the way, on Android. Graffiti is.
Okay. Is Graffiti the best one out there?
Well, I need to understand what you're doing. Do you want the client to be writing stuff or you to be writing?
No. Just for me, for jotting down information basically on the client as opposed to using the keypad.
Yeah, I'd use Evernote, Evernote.
Okay.
It doesn't do great text recognition, but it can do a little bit of it, enough so that you could use it for keywords and search. Evernote's nice because it's free. It syncs with everything. It works on everything. And you can always look at the text that you wrote and even add text, type in some notes if you want.
Okay. And as far as the document program...
By the way, everybody's saying OneNote, and it's true, OneNote's fantastic, but there's no OneNote available on either the iPad or Android. So unless you're going to buy a Windows tablet, OneNote's not a good solution.
Got it.
I love OneNote. OneNote does exactly that. It turns it into text. There is an iPad app called Note Taker HD that does something similar, but it's iPad.
Okay. On the Windows-type documents, there's Documents to Go, Office Pro. Are any of those superior?
I use Documents to Go. It's fine.
Okay.
It comes with, I think, all the Samsung stuff.
Okay.
So you won't have to buy it. What tablet are you looking at?
Transformer.
Yeah, I haven't used that, but
Yeah, the Asus, because it has that option of getting a keyboard to go with it, which...
yeah. Now it's kind of like a laptop and a tablet. And,
Yeah.
I think that's fine. I think you're going to Google Docs will get you 99% of the way there. It's not as elegant, but it's not the thing about FileMakers. It makes it look like a standalone app. Yes. Like, this is a dedicated customer database app. Google Docs looks like a bunch of Google Docs.
Mm-hmm.
Depends. Are you going to show the customer, or is it just for you?
No, just for me. Record keeping.
Yeah, then you don't care.
Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, the Asus Transformer, we had somebody brought it in, and I played with it and was very impressed. Very impressed. But it's a laptop. To me, I use a tablet as a tablet. If I want a laptop, I'm going to get one of the new Ultra Mobile laptops that a number of companies, including Acer, are coming out with, or a MacBook Air or something like that. Because then, that's a laptop. A tablet, I see so many people. Mike Elgin is a good example. Comes in with his iPad and a keyboard. And at that point, I don't understand. It's a laptop, Mike. Buy a laptop. What are you doing? What have you saved? You actually have a clunkier solution and limited capabilities because you can only use apps. I don't understand it. But if I guess that there are people who want the tablet and then sometimes have the keyboard or something like that. Rick in Oregon, you're next. Hi, Rick. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hi, Leo. This is Rick, over-the-road trucker.
Hey. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Hey, I got a couple of questions about the new iPhone 4S.
Yes.
As far as more hands, I've been a BlackBerry person forever and ever, and I've never really gotten a smarter phone because I never really needed one. But the possibility of that Cirrus Attendant being a more hands-free device?
It would be awesome for a trucker.
Yeah, and does it work with a Bluetooth headset?
It works with the Apple headset. Yeah, sure, it works with the Bluetooth headset. I know when I put it synced it up with my Ford Sync, and the audio output went through the Bluetooth. I presume I can't see any reason why the dictation wouldn't. I'll tell you what, I'll try it. Maybe somebody in the chat. Yes, the chat room said Waskell in the chat room says it does work with Bluetooth. So there's confirmation.
Headset, because those over-the-ear hanging things, if you wear them all day, they really hurt your ear.
Yeah. I know what you mean. No, I like that Blue Parrot. We talked about that before. It's great noise reduction as well. Yeah, I mean, you'll have to, and in some jurisdictions this is illegal, pick up the iPhone and press and hold the button to get Siri to talk to you. And I know in California, if I do that, if I touch the phone in any way, I'm breaking the law. They don't want you to pick up the phone. But I think that might be just California. You know better than I what the laws are. And the truth, I mean, okay, is anybody watching from the California Highway Patrol? If you put your hand down below the dashboard and you press the button, you're not taking your eyes off the road. You're not looking at the phone because the phone. This was the intent of Apple. Is the reason the phone talks back to you, unlike Android, is they don't want you looking at the screen.
Right. And the other specific question on it, being a trucker, and I'm sure a lot of truckers are like me, we're all about time and miles. I mean, that's basically what it is. If you see right now, if I want to say, well, how many miles is it between Petaluma, California, and Portland, Oregon? I got to work all over the GPS and punch your buttons.
Well, let's see. Let's try. You want to? I'll tell you what, Rick. Hang on. The Gizwiz is coming up. I'll try it, and I'll tell you. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Dick DiBartolo right after this. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888 Ask Leo, that's the number. Dick DiBartolo is here. Dick's Mad Magazine's maddest writer for the last 40-plus years, but he's also our own Gizwiz, and we love him. We're going to talk to him in just a second, but before we do, I do want to tell our truck driver, Rick, wanted to know about Siri. Does it give mileage? And Rick, I tried it, and it wasn't that useful. Here's what I did. You basically, you're going to ask for directions. So it knows where you are from the GPS. So I said, Give me directions to Portland, Oregon. And it pulls up Google Maps.
Here are directions to Portland.
And, of course, Google Maps right at the top says 667 miles.
Right. I was just wondering from like a different point to a different point, other than where I'm at now.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to do that. It will give you directions, and then you have to look at the screen. This is the unfortunate thing. This is what you don't want to do. You have to look at the screen. It'd be nice if you could say, what's the distance from Petaluma to Portland? And it would say 667 miles. But as far as I can tell, and maybe I don't know the right syntax, what is the distance from Petaluma to Portland? It'll give me directions.
To whom shall I send this message?
I confused it.
Okay. Yeah, maybe there's an app that will do that or something, but anyway.
Well,
okay.
I think the future, Rick, is going to be, and I hope Apple does this, although they're not notorious for doing so, that they publish hooks into this for other applications. And then we really got something. Right now, I can't, for instance, say, launch my GPS program from Siri. It won't launch applications. But it is, remember, it's in beta. It's pre-release. And I have hopes that Apple will do things like give application developers the ability to write to Siri so that you can use it. And that, you know, in other words, Siri needs an extensible vocabulary. And I would hope that they would do that. Well, let's try mileage. I don't know. What is the mileage between Petaluma and Portland? Some of the problems with this kind of thing, of course, is getting the right syntax.
Let me think about that. I found this for you.
Ah, that was good. It did, in fact, look it up on Wolfram Alpha. Now, I have to look at the screen, but it's 503 miles. So I was able to get that answer when I used the word mileage. But, Rick, you still have to look at the screen, and which sure would be nice if Siri would read that to me, wouldn't it? Hey, here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Dickie D, Gizwiz.biz, Mad Magazine's maddest writer. Dick, this is going to be my gadget for today's weekly daily Gizwiz.
Oh, I'm so impressed with, 20 minutes before you called, Sari called me ahead of time and said, Leo's asking me lots of questions, so I have to be fast. Instead of calling in 15 minutes, goodbye, I'm looking up some mileage.
It's just a matter of time. You know, I think that it probably next year I'll be able to say things like, call Dick T. Bartolo and tell him I'm running late. I can do that with a text, but it'd be nice if it would call you and talk to you.
10 years from now, you'll just pick it up and say, I don't feel like going in. Please do 3 hours of radio. Okay.
That's when I'm hiring it. Hey, Dick, welcome back. As always, Dick is the host of our Gadget show on the TWiT Netcast Network, and he likes to join us every week with a fun gadget. What do you got for us today?
Yeah, well, we talked about this on the Weekly Daily Gizwiz as part of our Gadgets with the longest name extravaganza. But I thought the radio audience might like to know about the iHome New Balance 2-in-1 Sport Earbud Ear Hook One-Touch Rate Monitor with Pedometer.
And what does it do, though?
Pretty much nothing. No. It's pretty neat. So it's a heart rate monitor, but what's unique about this is it does it via audio. We've done a lot of heart rate monitors over the years on the Daily Gizwiz and the Weekly Daily Gizwiz, and you always have to look down at your wrist or look up at the instrument. So this one does it all through your headsets. So it's like wearing a second little MP3 player. So you get the earphones, and you get the little dongle thing that hangs on your chest. And then in the bottom of that, you plug in your music player. But as you're jogging along, you hit a little button, and it says heart rate. Put your thumb on the button for the number of seconds, and she'll tell you when to remove your thumb, and it'll give you your heartbeat. As you jog, it can tell you how far you're running. If you set it up and put in your weight and your height and all that, it can tell you your calories burned as you're running. When you get back, you can hook it up to your computer and actually build a little graph of your progress when you download the software that comes with it. So it's also a stopwatch. So it's a stopwatch, pedometer, calorie counter, and heart rate monitor.
See, that's why they need that long name. It does all that stuff.
It does all that. Yeah, what they did is that New Balance, who does sports equipment, teamed up with iHome, who does audio equipment, and came up with the iHome New Balance 2-in-1 sport earbuds, ear hooks. And actually, it's the thing is $100, $99.99 suggested retail. So check Amazon for discounts. But for the headphones that come with it are very decent. If you use the ear hooks, not so decent because they don't really go very far into your ear. But if you actually use them as earbuds, I would say the sound is really good, really good. So
well, that sounds great. Where can I find that online?
I would just check on Amazon for one-touch heart rate monitor, New Balance.
That's a lot easier than that whole long name.
Yes, exactly. Ask Siri to find it.
No,
for
Siri
you.
could find it. Maybe Siri knows. Dick DiBartolo is at Gizwiz.biz. That's where you'll find his What the Heck Is It contest, a chance to win an autographed copy of Mad Magazine. Who autographs those, by the way?
Gee, you know anybody? Myra knows how to do my signature now. So
you have people. Siri does that.
I have people. And if you go to Gizwiz.biz and click on the What the Heck Is It link, there's also a picture of, we finally have what you're going to win. The December issue is shipping next week, so the new Mad cover is up there too.
Very good. Gizwiz.biz. Thank you, Dick DiBartolo. Stay tuned. We'll talk to you in a few minutes for the Daily
Be here.
Gizwiz. He says he'll be here. Leo. Benson, Los Angeles. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Benson.
Hi. I have two Gmail accounts linked up to my Mac Mail app on my MacBook, and one of them is just fine. Well, they were both just fine a week ago, and then I upgraded from I had Leopard, and then I upgraded to Snow Leopard, and now I'm on Lion. And ever since I upgraded, one of my Gmail accounts, it just keeps spinning.
I hate that. Here's what I would do. Go into the new Apple Mail is significantly different. This is probably a good idea in general. Go into the accounts in the preferences. Delete the accounts you have. Just delete them all. It won't delete any mail.
Okay.
It won't, change anything. That's the good thing about using Gmail is all that mail is safe and sound on Google's servers. But recreate it and make sure you get all the settings right. And I think what will happen is that it will just start over again. It will delete it locally, but it'll download it again.
Well, do I have to delete all of them? Is that the situation?
You don't have to do anything. I would, but you don't have to. Delete the one that's beach balling and see if that's sufficient.
I've tried deleting it a few times, and then I've deleted other folders, like hidden folders for the mail account.
No, I don't think you need to do that. I think deleting the account is sufficient. So you went to mail and you went to the mail settings, the account settings, and you pressed the minus sign and you got rid of that account.
Yeah, and then it didn't work. So the only thing that I could do to kind of resolve the issue temporarily is I'm just having everything routed to my the other Gmail account.
Yeah, use POP. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Not sure I can help because I ran out of time.